the HPRS, which stands for Homeless Prevention and Response System. I have to remind myself that on a regular basis. But welcome to the HPRS Advisory Council meeting. We have for July, we have a pretty packed agenda with a lot of great things that we need to go over. And we're going to start with Laura and doing the land acknowledgement.
I don't believe she is online. I believe that her note taker is, but if somebody else.
Now, can our note taker read the land acknowledgement? No, I'll go ahead and do that.
Don't tempt AI like that.
I know. A land acknowledgement's a formal statement recognizing the indigenous people of a place. It's a public gesture and appreciation for the past and present indigenous stewardships of the land that we now occupy. So as we begin this meeting, we respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Aina Athabascan people. The Dena'ina Aina have stewarded this land for thousands of years and continue to do so today. We honor their ongoing connection to the land, waters, and community. We recognize the enduring presence and contributions of the Alaska Native peoples across the state and are committed to uplifting Indigenous voices, histories, and leadership. As a collaborative group working to support and house members of our community, we acknowledge the legacy of colonization and its ongoing impacts, and we affirm our responsibility to promote equity, justice, and partnership with the Indigenous peoples of this region. Thank you, Laura. So now, hopefully somebody has thought about a wonderful, endearing mission moment that will allow us to center ourselves in this work as we start today's meeting. And you can just come off mic and share away.
You know, for me as a mental health advocate and supporting peer-led frontline, as well as those peers answering to a leader who also has lived experience, the True North Recovery landing in Fairview was a huge deal that will make I think, a very impactful difference on the people that they serve who have mental health challenges. And that was a big deal for me personally, for my advocacy and the work I've done over the years.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Yeah. Roger, I would almost even add to your mission moment and say, you know, they've been working on our campus for about, I want to say 4 to 6 weeks. We've had 3 young people go to treatment, and it is amazing. The staff are celebrating. I walk by and thank them every day. So a mission moment is, you know, partnerships and spaces allow us all to be the best of what we might need and receive from any provider. We can't do it all, and they've been an amazing partner in a very short period of time at Covenant House. You know, I'm going to tell them to listen because I'm sure that we've got this recorded and say, you are our mission moment, because for someone to say, I'm ready for treatment and to be able to get it right then is just it's a wonderful collaborative opportunity for a young person. So,
Hey,
go ahead.
For me and my advocacy, it's really been the frustrating part has been the pieces in the background, the things that seem to be tied to political, to control of money, funding streams, and that this has been a topic of the Mental Health Trust Advisory for 30 years. And finding the group that they would fund and trust to go forward, I'm very thankful for Carl and his team. Yep. That they were able to find that favor and step into it. And as the political spectrum is kind of at one extreme right now, the significance of them getting rooted is huge. And I will protect them as we head back the other way. And we'll have a level playing field where, you know, what truly matters will be the stick we use to measure with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all of us. That's the community that made this possible. So
yeah. Yeah. That's a great point, Roger. Thank you. Okay, have you guys had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda? And I would entertain a motion for minute approval, entertain any suggested changes to the agenda. I'm waiting, Chris Schutte. Chris or Randy, there you go.
I was going to say, I believe there's going to be a motion to adjust the agenda to include a discussion on, and I'm so sorry, it's the substance use policy.
Yeah,
for the CoC.
Yep. It is, we can add that the prohibition on illicit drug enablement is what they're calling it. It's a simple little title. Yeah, and so why don't we go ahead and we'll put that under advisory council reports and follow-up, and just make it a point that we will have an opportunity to discuss this policy when we get to that point of the agenda. Does that work for you?
Yes, thank you.
With that change, I move to approve the consent agenda as amended and approve the April meeting minutes.
See, there you go. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thanks, Randy. Okay, so now I'm very excited to kind of introduce to this entire group the Hope team. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about the, happy hearts, about the work that Ruth and Tanya are doing in the de-escalation training. I know that they have come and talked to our team. And one of the things that we felt like is that this shouldn't be a secret that we keep, that this is something that we need to share, and so that people have a greater understanding about what is the APD Hope Team. And so without further ado, I think I'm just going to turn it over to, I know we have a pretty tight, we've asked them to do everything they could possibly do in about, I don't know, what is it, 20 minutes? So Ruth and Tanya, I will turn it over to you to talk about the de-escalation training.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, having us. Let me see. We're gonna try to share our screen. We're more in-person people, but we're gonna try this.
Wow, you're in a really cool looking space.
We've been a little busy. We've been here today trying to prepare. But
See, you got the camera working.
it is working. Yes. Thank God. And I'm. Oh man, I hope you're not seeing any secret squirrels things, but do you see the presentation that I have on my screen?
Almost. Now we
Yep.
do.
Now we do.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, let's see what we can do here. Do you see that on your screen?
We do.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. All right, let's get started then. Perfect. So this is just a brief thing that we have put together to just show what our training is like. So we're hoping that what you guys are looking like, that's actually the
the de-escalation training, that's how we teach it, so.
Yeah, and it's highly adjustable to all the needs. So we have done some training at one of the faith communities, and we have gone to the Downtown Hope Center to do it for their staff. So we kind of adjust that to whatever the needs are in the community. So we just wanted to kind of briefly go over what it might all entail. So, and why it matters, right? So a lot of times we have issues when people are escalated for whatever reason it may be. And we see that, you know, sometimes it's difficult to respond to those situations. So how can we keep the staff safe as well as the person safe? And what can we offer to maybe give some tools that might make the situation's outcome a lot better than they have been in the past? So we just kind of try to talk about that, and it matters because, you know, we want to set up situations for success. Like when you are able to de-escalate a situation and have a good outcome, the chances that next time the situation happens again, the person that we hopefully trained is going to be more confident, and also the person that is in crisis is going to get a better response. So that's kind of the thought process behind that.
And the other piece to that is, in the training, we do a lot of background, like why do you see these behaviors in folks? What might be that communication style? What is going on? It might be different behaviors, but it's just kind of free for the understanding in this community, which hopefully breaks some of that stigma surrounding our and house neighbors and our, I mean, just the people that we can bring up here on this. Yeah. I mean, because this is the kind of stuff they say, right? This is very common as a business. You know, just upset people in different health crisis, intoxicated, and we don't have to go over all of this. You guys are very aware of kind of the things that people might see around a business, but just helping folks understand how to engage. What are some of the safe, calm, effective ways that we can maybe interact with our community?
Excuse me real quick. One of you is coming in very clear audio. The other is quite muffled. And I'm having trouble understanding. I'm not sure who's who, but if you could maybe adjust the mic or something like that. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. It's me, Tanya. I'm always muffled. I never speak loud enough.
So this is kind of, you know, for people that might not be familiar with de-escalation, or I don't know, may have never heard this before, but it's creating safety and stability for people. It's teaching people how to communicate effectively and calmly and clearly, and maybe more reasonable. It helps reduce the intensivity of the emotions that are being presented at the time. By all means, is it not giving in or being, I don't know, soft or any of those things. It's if you know how to de-escalate a situation,
no matter
you're
the
safe.
outcome you want to de-escalate, right? And that's part of the training, whatever the outcome is going to be, whether there is enforcement or just being able to move folks along, everything you do, you de-escalate up to that point. So that's really all de-escalation is.
Yeah.
Is how do we get someone to that next point, whatever it may be, in a very safe manner for both of you.
Yeah. And I mean, this is pretty common, you know, common sense stuff. People, for any reason, people can get escalated, and these are just some of the examples. And the first 30 seconds of an interaction, they absolutely matter. And this is often, we see this, you know, people escalate with the person in crisis. So you hear the raised voices, you hear the tug of wars between people, the arguing between individuals, and the power struggles. And just, you know, some of the things like the space, keeping the space, and being dismissive of people. It just, those 30 seconds, if you can in the beginning be mindful of all these things and maybe not do those, I think that has a way, way better outcome in the end. So we teach that.
We always teach that, I mean, safety comes first, obviously. So we talk a lot about it. de-escalating the situation doesn't mean that you have to put yourself at risk or allow that unsafe behavior or threats. We talk a lot about having good boundaries and knowing what each individual, like where you are at and what that could mean to de-escalation, when to back out, when to ask for help, all of those things. So we really talk about all of that to make sure that folks who are trying to de-escalate have all of that, like they understand.
Yeah.
So.
And this is just an example, right? Somebody near a business entrance. This was for the business community. How does the staff interact with that individual and maintain the safety, the respect and the dignity and their boundaries as well?
I mean, this is pretty, de-escalation is very effective. So it can just improve their confidence, their ability to walk out and engage with someone. I think it's an awesome tool to have in the toolbox. And so we talk a lot about that when you can use it. I mean, it's really all the time, but it makes people have this safe space. It can just improve your relationship with the community and each other. So.
And I also think we talk about a lot of the like scenarios or examples, because sometimes when people see things that they might not be familiar with or that are not pleasant or not that they don't feel comfortable with, there's this fear of how to approach somebody. So we kind of talk about those things, like easy ways to start a conversation and to bring things up and to kind of engage that individual to see where they are. Those are some of the things we talk about as well. Just some of the feedback we've received from the last, I mean, we've done this a couple of times and we've taught in, well, the police academy, we teach a lot about de-escalation and that this is the stuff that we usually hear back. It's useful. It reduces the fear and the uncertainty of the situation. And it just is practical tools that everybody can use. And it's simple and realistic.
Mm-hmm. These are just some of the things, I mean, again, like Ruth was saying in the beginning, everything is customizable, but these are some of the things we really like to cover. We offer this to everybody when they talk about we want de-escalation training, and those questions we ask about, well, what do you see? How is your interactions going? I mean, we ask those questions so we can kind of filter in some of these other training topics. I think one of the really cool things that most people get is we talk a lot about understanding mental health and substance use and what that might look like, what to expect. And it just helps people understand what they're seeing. And so they feel less fear and more confident going and talking to someone if they understand what's going on. So these are just some of those other trainings that we can kind of sprinkle in the de-escalation training.
And that's just a cool saying that and it's so true because we get told this all the time, regardless of how much a person is in crisis, they will remember how they were treated by the individual that contacted them. And the safety and dignity can still coexist. So, and we see this like every day, and we have a lot of examples to talk to on that topic. And that was pretty much it. And if anybody has any questions, please let us know. We have our contact information here. Those are our cell phone numbers that you can text or call. And that was it.
Okay, I think Chris Schutte, thank you. Chris Schutte has his hand up.
Thanks, Allison. Thanks, Ruth and Tanya. I've said this before in other forums where you guys have presented, but you both are a real asset to our community. And this offer of de-escalation training is something that's such a great resource for more than just retail businesses. I mean, that's who we usually think about is the retail front-facing individuals. But this is great training for those of us on the call. If you have an office of your own, or if you have friends or coworkers who have office buildings, I mean, this is the kind of thing that someone who sits at a reception desk in a 4-story office building in Midtown gains a lot from. It's about giving them the tools to feel comfortable and confident in some of the interactions that people have. And then, of course, like the last slide showed from Ruth and Tanya, it's all about giving people not only the tools, but the compassion to treat people in a way that they'll respond to and that they'll remember. So I'm just putting in another plug. Anybody on the call, if you think of people who could benefit from this, please reach out to Ruth and Tanya. It's really, really valuable. And thank you both for being here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I think we'll get to you with the 500 places that we want you guys to go talk to. So, we'll start out slow, but I've appreciated you coming to Covenant House, and actually we're working at some point to do it with our neighbors, right? And so definitely we see a lot of fear that and I think that this is something that really helps with that anxiety of approach and conversation, and kind of brings back the humanity and the dignity of it. So I really value it. I thank you, and I hope that you're able to do your work as opposed to always doing shows about it. But hopefully we'll manage the volume. So I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
As always, and thanks for joining us.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I mean, what a gift those two ladies are to our community. And actually, we had the MIT team come talk to us. Just a tremendous amount of resources that are coming in to be able to in our community offer dignity and respect in all spaces for those experiencing homelessness. And so just grateful for some of that new work that's happening. Okay, so we're going to go right into, unless anybody has any final questions. And feel free to just raise your hand or jump off mic, whatever works the best for you. So, okay. So we're gonna go into our council reports first. Our committees, I think there are 4 committees that met: coordinated entry, compliance. We're always making compliance meet, community prioritization, business. Oh, actually probably 5, because Roger, did lived experience meet?
We've had a couple of meetings, but we not this last one, and I've kind of stepped back from involvement there. So
okay. Well, we will find out a way that we can stay connected, so that there are some reports back to us from that committee. And thank you, Roger, for the years of leading that. So we might be anxious as you step away, but thanks for your years of leading that. So
I think Felicia is great.
Yeah. So how about Chris or Laura? Any high level updates that, again, anybody can go also on the website. The committee, the meetings are, you can share, you can get minutes, information on it. So what about the business committee, Chris?
Nothing to report. We did not meet in June.
Okay. How about, I'm going to go everybody but compliance, since compliance is where we will talk about the prohibition of illicit drug enablement policy approval. Woo, that one's a title. How about coordinated entry, Laura?
Laura's not on, her note taker is, but I can give a quick coordinated entry update.
Right.
Since the last meeting, the coordinated entry committee has had a meeting of the full committee, as well as meetings of the subcommittee that is focused on prioritization, and has been working over the last quarter on transition age youth prioritization. We've been talking a lot about the pilot that's been running with Covenant House, specific for transition age youth. And then that committee also was able to come and talk to the Youth Advisory Board about what those findings from that pilot were, the assessment tool that was being used, and the questions and the assessment pieces that went into that. So our goal on the coordinated entry committee is to, by, I believe, the next meeting of this advisory council, be bringing forward a recommendation for a TAY-specific coordinated entry prioritization tool. So super exciting. They've all been working really hard with each other, with the Youth Action Board, and with the statewide coordinated entry team, so we can help try to smooth that process that people have when they are experiencing homelessness in different areas of our state, that they don't have a drastically different experience if they are in Bethel, or if they are in Nome, or if they are in Anchorage. So quick update on coordinated entry.
That's great. And just for context, I mean, in our community right now, I mean, that group is very active, but in our community, there's, one determination of prioritization, and that's length of homelessness, and that's across all spectrums. And so I think that it's great that the committee is kind of looking at from TAY perspective to family perspective, veteran perspective, and then single adult, right? Because they really all do have some unique needs. And so therefore, the committee is really kind of tackling, and they did about a year-long study on it. And maybe at one of these meetings, they can kind of present on that study. So it's very informative information. Okay, how about, we'll put David on the spot for community prioritization.
Yeah, hi everyone. We met last week or the week before. I will be taking over for Will as chair. And so talked a lot about the purpose of that committee, and I got sent a whole bunch of documents. So I'm getting myself up to speed on that committee, and I'm been playing a little bit of schedule back and forth with Will to get together one-on-one with him to sort of continue to get myself back up to speed, but nothing major to report other than I am learning. So thank you everyone for your patience there. That's it.
I think the one thing, even level setting this as well is that, there's a lot of work throughout the year that could be done on the community prioritization, so that when the time like this comes in NOFO and seasons, that information also then contributes to, our community's priorities, right? And needs. And so looking forward to the work that David and all will have with the community prioritization. Actually, we also have data. I don't know if data has met. I do know that we had the signing of an HMIS agreement with healthcare, shared healthcare, but I'm not sure. Is anybody on, Susan, for data?
I can share that Susan is on vacation and gets back next week, so she's not here.
Okay.
And this is
there
Dave.
Has not been. Oh,
yeah, I was going to say what Jessica was going to say, that we haven't met for a couple of months.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, Dave's going to have a lot to talk about when you guys meet.
For sure. I do want to share at this meeting, since it was a special meeting where we approved it, just to close that loop and share that you all approved the data sharing agreement for the Medicaid match. That document has now been signed by all of the parties. And so we are working with WellSky, who is our software for our HMIS implementation, to set up that process for how that extract and then following it, the import will happen. So hopefully, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, in the next couple months, we will have our first match. And then the data committee will really have something to talk about and report back to this group, because I am really excited about that.
Got it. Okay, so Randy, why don't we go? I will just say that the beginning of the week, one of the things in the NOFO process, we recognize that there are certain things that as a COC, you're advised to think of as a collective. And one of them is this wonderfully named Prohibition of Illicit Drug Enablement Policy Approval. And when that policy came through, then rightfully so, we passed it along to compliance. Some very thoughtful exchange. Thank you, Olivia, Carrie, Randy. And now at this point, what we have is the approval, a decision on approval. So Randy, anything you want to share about it, or?
I was about to
Go.
say, it'd probably be easiest to have it pulled up. I would say two different things. One, this is strategic because it adds additional points to our overall CoC application with HUD. And so kind of putting a lot of other feelings and stuff aside, we want to make sure we bring in as many dollars into the community that we can, because we know we turn around and use those dollars very effectively to help the people we can. The other piece I will say is I think that ACH did a great job drafting this in a way that really reflects what we're already doing. When you see a title like that, it initially brings up a lot of like fear of, is this going to undo the different harm reduction efforts and things like that. I would say the hard and fast on here, which is not legal to operate within our state anyway, is a safe use site. And I think that is the strongest language in here, but I don't have permissions. Can you scroll down a little bit? I just want to highlight a couple of things for people. Pause on the policy statement. And so again, this is reaffirming what we already do, which is not discriminate based on engage in illegal racial discrimination. And then that other piece I was just talking about, will not operate drug injection sites or safe consumption sites in violation of federal law. The third bullet is we're not knowingly permitting the use or distribution of illicit drugs on our property, but you will see later in the document that that does not then require someone to reach a point of sobriety or participate in treatment in order to receive services. We understand that people are going to kind of go through many different cycles with substance use, but we're not going to allow basically drug dealing to happen on our property knowingly. Can't control for all of it. If you scroll down, these are some of the protections that I was just talking about. We're not going to require them to be sober. We're not going to require them to participate, and it isn't going to result in an automatic eviction. But what you will see later on is it does leave the power of those decisions within the hands of the programs that are running each of those programs. So if specific programs have sober requirements, for example, that this is not precluding them from doing that, and nor is it precluding us from encouraging and referring and connecting people to those substance use resources. Scrolling down, I think they like to use a lot of really big words for
I know, right?
things that we're already doing.
Right.
There's not anything in here, knowingly distribute drug paraphernalia, either on-site or off-site. So the big thing around that, in none of our CoC funded programs are needle exchange sites, but I believe that is speaking to that. It does not preclude you from, again, having medical equipment on site and available, which some of the programs do, because we actually work with a lot of people that have prescribed injectable medications and diabetes and things like that. Scrolling down, We're not going to hand out miniature spoons
Yeah, right.
and bongs.
Yeah.
That does include the clarifying statements that we've already spoken about. And then scrolling down, I'm just trying to double check that I'm not missing anything else. Oh, the participant conduct and response. This is where I was telling you that it is the individual programs are allowed to have their policies, right? And they can still do those things. And then if they are found in direct violation of it, there are remedies for non-compliance. Again, this policy has to withstand current grantees and, trends over the years, right? We might end up with new programs that may need that additional technical assistance to really address, issues that might be happening within their program. But overall, I felt that the wording of the policy was really well balanced and was not punitive to the people that we were serving. Did any carry? Oh, I see hands.
Okay. Number one, Jess.
Just quickly, I wanted to clarify, this was my number one question when we first started developing this policy. So I can imagine it's maybe other people's number one question. Distribution of an administration of naloxone is not considered drug paraphernalia. So even though that is a harm reduction activity, and it is tied to safe use, SAMHSA has come out with what they call the Dear Colleague letter. And the Dear Colleague letter makes it very clear that that is not considered drug paraphernalia. So just wanted to share that. That was my first question I had, and I can imagine other people have it as well.
Thank you. That's a really good point.
Yeah, and Jess, didn't you say too that you've contacted all programs, projects that are in the CoC, and there is no one in this community that is doing this, right? Like that would be out of compliance for this. And so
Yes.
I agree
And
with
this
Randy, strategic, but I also agree that it's not happening in our community connected to the housing work that we're doing. So.
Yeah, that is a good clarification. Other communities have passed policies on this that are CoC wide. We kept ours narrow to CoC funded projects because we don't want to put unnecessary restrictions on projects that aren't receiving CoC funds and therefore don't have to make that certification. We get the points for it. And then something I will share, we are still waiting on some of the pieces of the NOFO, but one thing that has been released is in eSnaps, the planning project application is in there. And at the top of that project, you're required to check a box that says that your project certifies that you won't do this. So it's a little bit of like a double coverage thing. You're going to have to certify that you're not going to do it before you can even submit the application. So having a policy that just reiterates that projects that check that box don't get to do it. Like I said, it's going to get us those extra points. So we're on it.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns about it? And happy to entertain a motion, and then we can go into kind of discussing it. Sam.
Hi, I didn't see needles listed as paraphernalia, but kind of curious because there's I think a difference between like hosting a needle exchange or people just receiving clean needle.
Like doing one of the mobile exchange clinics.
Yeah, or if yeah, so I don't know, I guess I don't know if that means they can't receive like what we would potentially consider a harm reduction kit that has more than naloxone in it.
Yeah, so if you look under definition of drug paraphernalia, it doesn't specifically call out a needle. But it does say that drug paraphernalia, and it's defined in 21 USC, is equipment, product, or material that is primarily intended or designed for use of manufacturing, compounding, converting, concealing, producing, processing, preparing, ingesting, inhaling, or otherwise introducing a controlled substance into the human body. And then underneath that, it talks about some of the things that could be that. But I think the really important part is that last sentence. The determination of whether an item is drug paraphernalia is based on its intended or designed use, including relevant contextual factors such as how the item is marketed, distributed, or used in practice. So that's a little bit of what Randy was saying around, nobody is saying that you can't give cleans to somebody who has diabetes who injects insulin. You know, things being used for a medical purpose. But a harm reduction kit that included naloxone and syringes would likely, the syringes at that point would be considered drug paraphernalia because it's clear in how you are distributing it that that's the intended use of it. So it doesn't mean that a person couldn't possess that. It means that your project can't distribute that. They could still get that from 4A's or from another organization that is doing needle exchange.
Or like a Sharps box. Yeah.
And that might be where, again, all of our organizations are very, our first purpose is to get people connected to the services and meet their needs, right? And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity for partnerships with other organizations that might facilitate some of those pieces. The other piece too is, right, how we make things available to people versus how they then choose to use them. You know, we can't really control how people use things once they're in their hands. And so, you know, if you have a safe structure within your facility that, you know, there's, for example, prepackaged single needles, you know, that are available. If you have that with your Sharps containers, you know, that you want to be able to control how people are taking and using those. And I'm not trying to say like try to circumvent the laws and the rules. I'm just saying we're already navigating how to make sure people's needs are met and how they get connected to the help they need.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Roger. I don't think this is really going to impact us that much. And with 4A's that get mentioned a minute ago, I'm pretty sure they're the only ones I know in the community that have really been on the front line of doing this. They have a private van that can park on any public street, and they can conduct the, you know, I don't believe they are applying for any CoC money. So I don't think this is going to impact what's really happening on the streets. And I would motion to approve this.
Great. Roger, thanks for making the motion. Do I have a second? Chris, thank you. Any more questions on it? If not, we'll go to vote.
Sorry, this includes.
Mitch, are you gonna do it as like, do you want us to do it as a, you know, whatever you call it, you send out the little survey and we do it, or is it by show of hands?
I think we can just ask for if there are any objections, and count those.
Yep. So do we have any objections? Okay.
And to clarify, that's asking if you object to approving this policy for the CoC.
Thank you. Do we have any objections to approving this policy for the CoC? Okay, seeing none, the motion carries. Thank you. And now we go to Jess, who is going to give us an update and some timelines. And I think we do have kind of a PowerPoint as well on some upcoming dates that we really need to make sure that absolutely everybody that can has these on a calendar, because this is the time where our work is a little busy. It's almost like the auditor's fall, right? So this is where we're all really busy, a lot going on. That being said, in order to meet the deadlines for the submission of our application, there are certain processes that have to happen. And in order, one of the final kind of processes is the all CoC meeting to vote on the priority list that is completed by rank and review. So the dates for those, look at me, Jess, I'm kind of going through your stuff. The dates for those are July 30th at 10 a.m. The second date to really have on your calendar is August the 6th at 10 a.m. That actually, I think it's a longer meeting because it's basically also doing YHDP, the Youth HUD Demonstration Project, and priority list from CoC. And then Friday, August the 21st at 10 a.m. So these aren't like attend one and not the other. These are all three we have to be in attendance, and we have to establish quorum. So once quorum is established, then any organization or any member of the council that has a project in the rank and review will remove themselves from the vote, and the vote can be carried out by the balance of people that are our council. So, Jess, did I cover that? Is there any other updates that you would like to provide with that?
Yes, so I have some general government updates I want to make sure I share, and then you just talked about the scheduling. I'll talk a little bit about what each one of those NOFOs is and why we're doing this and why it's so important. I'm going to start at the federal level. NOFO season, NOFO times, I'm calling it 2.5. We have our Continuum of Care NOFO that is open right now. We also have the opportunity to come in for another round of Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program funds and additional Youth Homelessness System Improvement, or YESI funds. So that's why I'm calling that one 1.5. They are combined together in one NOFO, but we are putting forward an application for the Anchorage Continuum of Care. And of course, we are for our general Continuum of Care funds as well. Also at the federal level, I wanted to share the Road to Housing Act passed. It passed because the president didn't veto it, and it just happened. So that's really exciting. This is the first piece of legislation in a really long time that has made pretty substantial changes to how some federal oversight of housing programs happens. So really excited to see how some of that rolls out over the next couple months. And then last, wanted to share that we had over the past, not today, the past 2 days before this, we had some HUD policy officials here in town. It was really exciting. We had Assistant Secretary of Community Planning and Development, Ronnie Kurtz, here, along with policy advisors, Arham Shah and Senior Advisor Trey Allen. Along with them was Dr. Robert Marbett, who calls himself the senior advisor because of his age. He calls himself that. So he was here along with Soledad Ursua, who is a person who helps advise him on policy. And then from our local office, Karma Reed and Kim Davis, we were able to attend an AMDOT meeting, which was really exciting for them to see how some of that coordination is happening. They visited the shelter at 56. They visited Willow Commons. We got to put on some hard hats and walk through the South Central Foundation Crisis Stabilization Center that is currently under construction. I'm really excited. Those detox beds are opening like in days, not in even a measure of weeks. The rest of the facility will be open in the next few months, and then followed by the Providence Crisis Stabilization Center shortly after. We got to visit the new True North Recovery Building and have a meeting there. And then they went on a site visit to a few CHA properties and then a meeting over at HFC. On the second day, they hosted a housing forum down at the library, which was really interesting and had an opportunity for people to ask some questions and hear a little bit about how HUD under this administration is viewing some of the upcoming funding opportunities and policy changes on the horizon. So that was really cool. Before they came to Anchorage, they were out in Bethel and Napakiak. And then after they left Anchorage today, they were down in Juneau. They're headed to Seattle tomorrow to host a housing forum in Seattle. And then I'm hearing potentially visiting Ketchikan over the weekend. So they might pop back up north and visit Ketchikan before they all head back home at the end of the weekend. At the state level, the budgets were all approved. The housing, the HAP funds were preserved at their amended level, which was level funded from prior year. So that's great. Thank you all to everyone who helped advocate to have that funding remain stable. The ID bill for transition age youth that we were tracking out of Representative Mina's office, however, did not go to the governor to be approved. So next year, we'll work on that again. At the local level, there's an RFP open right now for night shelter providers. So if that's something you or your organization is interested in hearing more about, let me know. We can talk more and I can show you where you can access all of those materials online. The Assembly approved the HUD action plan for our participating jurisdiction entitlement funds for this upcoming year, so that is also great. And then here at ACH, a couple big things. The Right at Home project, which is our pilot prevention project we're working on with Destination Home, is well underway in planning phase, and there are some stakeholder meetings happening over the next couple weeks. So if prevention is something you do or something you want to talk about, reach out to Will here at our office. We have a housing summit conference next month. Registration information is on our website. It is August 19th and 20th, and we're hosting it over at the South Central Foundation NUCA Center. So same place we held it last year. And then planning meetings for Project Homeless Connect have been going on for a couple months now. That event is in October. So coming up feels like tomorrow. And if that is anything you want to volunteer for, or if your organization has not yet signed up to participate and table, please do so, or reach out to us and talk more about what level of involvement you can have or want to have. And then on those meetings, just to share, there's two separate things that have to happen with each notice of funding opportunity. The first one is accepting the priority listing. So when the rank and review team looks at all of the applications that we have received for each of those two different competitions, they will rank them, they'll put them in order, and they'll make a recommendation for funding. That's going to come forward and get voted on. And then it gets combined with our collaborative application for our whole community. And then that comes forward and gets voted on. So both of those grants have both of those steps. We consolidated two of them into one meeting for you all. So August 6th is going to pull double duty. Unfortunately, HUD did not make those two applications due at the same time. So we could not make it all happen smoothly together, but we're going to do the best we can, and y'all are going to show up. We're going to get quorum. We're going to vote. It's going to be exciting. I do want to share that for the Youth Homeless Demonstration Project, we had 3 applications come in, and for the Continuum of Care funds for the renewals and opportunities for the bonus funds, we had 34 applications come in. So rank and review has their work cut out for them, and I'm really excited for you all to see the results.
That's great. And definitely, contact Jess or, who is handling rank and review. If you aren't,
Will and Matt. Will and Matt are doing review.
Yeah, I would put a pitch out, or they can send a reminder email. But if you also don't have a project in it, really need people to assist in the rank and review process for our local CoC. So that being said, do we have any? This is our time for public questions or comments. Do we have anybody that would?
We have one person. We have someone here in the office. Thank you. I was like, in the building.
Okay.
One person here.
Yeah, so I can't see necessarily who that might be, but if you can just state your name and we'll get the clock started.
Hi, Allison. It's Jamie. So
okay,
Jamie Lopez, formerly Coalition. So anyways, get 2 minutes, used to be 3. Wow, cannot really talk about a lot of things. So Jessica's always the great diplomat, and I do commend her for it. But I hate to say that there is a disconnect between this industry and the people outside. I have 10,000 field hours in the past 4 years, a quarter while in a car. And literally, I'm taking food to people each day, and they're getting displaced endlessly all over this town. No food, no water, no shelter. 8 years ago, it was a war crime. And today, it's called progress. And so while, there is money for intensive case management, there is money for mental health, there is money for substance abuse treatment, there is not money to keep people alive. I've spent over 20 grand, basically, and it was an opportunity cost venture where I had an emergency housing voucher. The fund should have been good until 2030. And more or less, they were essentially, oops, sorry, they're all gone. Whether it was a result of the current administration or if it was a result of just mismanagement, it's tough to tell. But effectively, I'm out of money. And I'm this close to being out on the street. And so, literally, when nobody will fund somebody outside of police to go out and hand people things, and it's not trauma informed, it's trauma induced when you do it that way, then more or less, what does that say about this industry? What does it say about the success of people in general? When you sacrifice for years, but literally you cannot get help. And so this is not a mental health crisis in any particular way. It's a reflection of the state of this industry. And there are way too many people in offices doing Zoom calls and not enough people going outside. And people cannot get help now. They are losing opportunities on housing. And I would say, please change your priorities here. You need more people outside helping people because they are losing things, including their physical and mental health. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Jamie. I will say, which is a really kind of positive, this round with HUD, this is the first time they're funding street outreach type opportunities and, supportive services only projects.
And that doesn't help people. So thank you.
Yep. Okay. So do we have anybody else? I think Chris.
Oh, Allison, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to raise my hand during public comment. I was going to do it during closing.
Got it. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. So now we're going to go to any comments anybody has, any closing comments, good news or celebrations? Chris.
Okay, this is definitely both good news and a celebration. I just wanted to let advisory council members know that we were joined today by Deborah Vo, and I can't see if she's still on. So Deb, I apologize if you are and I'm not seeing you, but Deb is with the Rasmussen Foundation, and I was tasked with reaching out to Deb to bring her to the AC meeting, introduce her to the HPRS, and just create a warm welcome for her as she assumes the homelessness portfolio that was previously held by Jeanette Lee over at Rasmussen. So Deb, I think you're here, but if not, it was nice that you stopped in, and we would like to welcome her and hopefully get her interested in serving. on the advisory council.
Yeah, I think she had to jump off. I saw a text that she had a conflict with another meeting, but that she appreciated the invitation. Again,
I'm here.
remember,
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Sorry I was
Oh,
late,
there-
Allison.
God,
Yeah,
got it.
so this is my first dive in, and I've just been swallowed up with meetings today that just popped up, and I look forward to, and hopefully, you will all approve of my participation in this advisory council. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. We're pretty tough. You have to pass through, Chris Schutte. Anyway, do we have any other additional good news or community events? There are links in the chat for the housing summit and Project Homeless Connect, as those are coming up. And do we have any dates there you go, for upcoming volunteer or advocacy opportunities? And there is a plethora of those that do exist. And I would entertain either any closing comments or our motion to adjourn. I know we're a few minutes past.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Or I guess
Taffy? Okay. Thanks,
Second.
Taffy. That way
I'll second.
well, I was going to say, Chris, come on. Anyway, hey, everybody, have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. And if fishing is in your plans, may you catch many. Okay. Talk to you later.
Anyways, said what I need to say.